So for my next short story collection review, I'll be reviewing Stories of Your Life and Others by Ted Chiang. After I finish each story, I'll tell you guys what I think about the story, and then at the end, I'll do a final roundup. Alright, so I read the first short story called Babylon. You know what? I thought this was okay. It's basically about the Tower of Babylon. I mean, it's obvious by the name. And what I did like about it was that it describe things really well. Like I could see it in my mind. The thing though is like with this story, you kind of have to have references, which I did get, but I could see someone not liking this short story because you would kind of need to know references about how structures are made, because it makes some references and I was like, oh, I like that. I like that. I could see it, and I do like the like philosophical ideas behind it, and the thematic references. I did like that. And while I did enjoy those things, it was just okay to me. Like there was nothing really like gripping me in that regards as like a oh, you know what I'm saying? But I did like it. So on to the next story. So I just finished the second story called Understand. I didn't like it. Point blank period, I did not like it. It's about this man who basically in the beginning, he come to find out he's in this he was in an accident, and so he has to go through therapy to try to go back to the way he was. And without giving too much away, basically the therapy goes haywire. I understand like what it was trying to do here, and I get it. I think first off that this it's gonna be contradictory to what the story is actually trying to do, but I think this was too verbose. It's just too much, and it's to me it felt like it was just so long. I was like, I'm ready for this short story to be over with. I was like, this is just too long. It just at one point, I just like I don't care. I just did not care. But yeah, I'm gonna go on to the next story. We'll see how that goes. But this one, for understand that it was just a dud for me. I didn't like it. It is like one of those stories where I myself as the reader was feeling just like the ooh of it, similar to what the character was feeling, but I think that frustration was just pouring over me, like the way that it leads up to this with the story. It was it was just like ugh, I felt like the emotions of it, and frustration is just an emotion that I myself don't want to feel. I guess Chang did a great job of making me feel that emotion, but I just don't like feeling frustrated, and that's how I felt just reading it, was frustrated. Alright, so I just finished reading Division by Zero. It's about this couple, and it deals with like math. So here's the thing with my issues with this story. First off, it deals with math. Surprisingly, I'm Asian and I don't like math. I don't like reading about math. Like I'm okay at math. I don't like reading about math in fiction, which is so weird. I don't. That's just like a personal thing for me. So I don't really like that. So suffice it to say, I didn't really like this story. But I was just kind of just like okay, like to me, I wasn't impressed or anything. I was just like okay. And again, the math is the math. So the next one is Story of Your Life. This is I believe the story that Arrival is based on. So we'll see how that goes. Right. So I just finished reading Story of Your Life, and I was kind of hesitant going into this one, I'm not gonna lie, because it is pretty hyped up. And after the first few pages, I was like, oh, okay. But I loved it. And I think the reason why is not only this exploration about language, which I love, and all the science and physics stuff. I was like, oh, this is up my alley. I really did like it. Without giving too much away, the revelation at the end, I was like, oh, that's like what is actual like. It's like mind-boggling in a way. I really, 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 really liked it. I can see why people say this is the best story in the collection because it's really, really good. Yeah, I was like, I just finished it right now because yeah, that was good. Oh, that was good. Oh my god, that was good. Yeah, I really liked it. Yeah, I really liked it. So the story involves basically these heptapods heptapods that come, they're like aliens that come to Earth in these like half mirror things. And basically we have our main character, Dr. Banks, and she is a linguistic, and she's learning how to talk to the aliens. And that was my favorite part, like learning about language, because I love learning about language, so that was like really interesting to me. And just learning about language, and then the way that we learn language, and like the layers of language, and then not only language but also like with communication. Oh, that part was really good. And even the parts with the principles of the physics. Oh yeah. All right. So Arrival is available on Amazon Prime, so I'm gonna watch it, and then I'll let you guys know what I think about the movie in comparison with the novel, with the novella. And yeah, I'm excited. I just finished watching it. Oh, okay. Yo, that was really... Hold on, let me change my exposure. Yeah, I just finished watching it. Oh my gosh, it was really, really good. It was a really great adaptation. Like, it felt like I was just reading a story, but in like a visual format. Obviously, they cut off some things because, I mean, it didn't make no sense in the visual form. I could see the parts where they cut. But I really, really liked it. The sound design is so cool. Like, listen to this, the music is... It's so cool. It's so cool. Overall, I really enjoyed just the story in general. And what I do like about the movie is that it gives you a visualization of the language, well, the way they write, and this, it's so cool. I'm not gonna lie, I think this is one of my favorite short stories I've ever read in quite a while. Yeah, wow, that was really, I really liked it. And just the thematic themes, just the themes that short story, novella, whatever it is, encompasses just in this short amount of time. It's so good. And I think that's what I'm really liking about Chiang. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that name right. I'm gonna look it up to make sure. But what I really do enjoy so far, even with his previous stories, even though I didn't enjoy them as much, is the way he writes is really interesting. It's very science-based and math-based. And I do like it. Depends on the context, I guess you could say. But if anything, if I were to critique it so far, is that a lot of his characters, they're very, so far right now from the stories, they're very one-noted. It doesn't have this like exploration about their character. It seems as though majority of these characters are more of like the pieces to the theory and to his exploration of like the themes that he's exploring. Right. So I'm gonna talk about two stories that I just finished from the book, and the first one is 72 Letters. This was actually pretty good in my opinion. It has a very steampunkish feel to it, but not like in direct correlation with it. It's basically a story about a professor doctor, Strafford, who basically has the mechanics to make like humans in a way, but the story actually does a really great job of explaining everything in my opinion. I love all the sciencey talk with it, and just like the I'm stepping on stuff, and all the explanations involving science and how humans make living organisms. It's really fascinating. That's what I enjoyed most about the story, is all the science talk. It's because I was able to keep up with it. Since I do really enjoy science, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I got it. And all of the references with all the like biblical references, like with the, not biblical, but all of the just all of the allusions and the references with like golems and the 72 letters, like it's the 72 words. It's just everything about it was so cool. And the idea of like this machine making with the words and the like the nomenclature, I really did like it. So overall I really did enjoy it. The next one was just like a very short, quick kind of
in my opinion, kind of almost throwaway story, which is called The Evolution of Human Science. And you know what? I thought it was okay. Nothing. I mean, it's literally 2 pages, so I don't really want to talk about it because it's gonna tell the whole thing. But overall, I thought it was okay. So yeah, there's that. All right, so I'm here to talk about the next to the last story, which is Hell is the Absence of God. I read it last night and I fell asleep afterwards, so I didn't have time to talk about it. That he's really good at building the philosophy and the idea behind his stories. Like with 72 Letters, it's more of like, I really did enjoy the parts where he talks about the embryo. I thought that was really cool. And even with Arrival, the explaining of the science and like how it reaches the end, I really, really did like it. With Hell is the Absence of God, I really like this one. This is about Neil, who, it seems, it's not clearly stated, but it seems as though in this world, there is an absolute heaven and an absolute hell. In my opinion, what I got from this story is this, how people view, like, kind of like miracles, you know what I'm saying? Like how people view spiritual miracles. Now, full disclosure with this, I do believe in God. I consider myself a Christian, and reading this short story was very insightful for me. I'm not one of those people like, oh my God, believe in God type of thing. And it's always, for me anyways, because I do love science and I love like learning about science. It seems to me like this almost a scientific look at this thing with miracles. You know what I'm saying? I really liked it. And I think this is a short story. Like, it's so weird. Like, this is like a short story. It's hard to grasp, or not grasp, but it's hard to convey why I loved it. But I always enjoy stories that make me think, especially with religion. I really liked it. And this way of looking at how people go into like heaven or hell, that's what I really like about that short story. I really, really like that aspect of that short story. Alright, so I just finished reading the last short story on here, and then it seems as though there's gonna be like story notes and whatnot, so I'm interested to read that. The last short story is called Liking What You See, a Documentary. I really like this. This is a short story it's a documentary, like written in a style like interviewing people, and it's basically in this college where it's a futuristic world. It seemed like, now I just started watching Black Mirror and it reminded me of like that mood, that tone of it. It's about this college where they have this thing called a Cali. That's what I'm thinking it's pronounced. And it basically makes you see people, like it's implanted in their mind. And it makes you see people in a idealistic view, as in like the way that people prefer to be seen, like a preferred view, like a very beautiful people type of thing. And it's really interesting because we see it's like interviewing people, and we see the different reasonings behind why you would want to have this Cali, or like why you don't want to have it. I really like it. What I enjoyed most about was just all the different points of views. And okay, so here's the thing. I'm also one of those people, when I look at people, I don't remember their faces. Like if you ask all my coworkers, I have a really hard time with names, and I tell people like all the time, like I don't really remember people's faces. I am a person that remembers like, oh God, this is gonna sound so this is gonna sound like so cliche, but I remember people's like energy. It sounds crazy. I don't know. Hard for me to remember people's names with their faces. That's just what it reminded me, like personally. But the short story really explores this theme of what is beauty, and there's this part in here that I really enjoyed about how people perceives, like what makes someone beautiful. Oh, it was fascinating. Like, what a great short story. And I really did love the way it's almost like in a documentary. Like I saw it when it said a documentary, I was like, my mind automatically clicked to that type of like me visualizing it. Yeah, I really loved it. Just it was it's like the more I talk about it, the more I realize like I really love it. But I really like the themes of it, and I think that's what I'm really enjoying a lot about Chiang's short stories are his themes. Oh, they are so thoughtful. All right, so overall, I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts of Stories of Your Life and Others by Ted Chiang. What I really did enjoy, as you can tell, as the stories progressed through the clips, is that I really did enjoy his ideas and the way that he would explain his ideas. Because while he's not the best, in my opinion, at creating memorable characters in that regard, I think his characters are more memorable because of the ideas that he presents. And Chiang is really good at presenting those ideas, and a lot of those I really understand the reasonings behind them, and that's what I really did enjoy. What I really want to talk about during this last clip is the idea at the end where he explains some of like where he got the ideas for his short stories, and I really that was a really interesting thing to put in that short story collection because it made me rethink some of the stuff that I myself as the reader first thought of when I was reading it. But I don't think it swayed my opinion of what I thought about it. I just thought that it made me, I wouldn't say rethink it. I thought it presented another side of the coin, which I thought was really interesting that they put that at the end of the book. But overall, I really did like the collection. And if anything, not Arrival, Story of Your Life was my favorite on there. And I like the documentary one. Those were my favorites. I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. If you read any of the short stories individually or if you read the collection overall, let me know what you think about it. I would love to hear your thoughts. Until then, I'll see you guys till next time. Bye!